Hi everyone, happy Friday. I am so excited to share this topic with you today. I received a really important question in a private message, and I was like, you know what, the whole group could benefit from learning more about this. And so rather than reply to that DM, I was like, let me just do a whole lesson on it because, like I said, this is so crucial to our understanding of how to make peace with food. So I want to explore the role of weight loss in all of this, the role of weight loss in intuitive and mindful eating. What is the role of weight loss in finding food freedom and healing our relationships with food and our bodies? So I'll read the question to you. Like I said, it was such a good question from one of our new members. So I want to kind of break it down piece by piece and address every point and really dive into this topic today because it's going to be a game changer for many of you. So here's what the message says. Hello, thanks for the ad. I'm exploring intuitive and mindful eating after attempting dieting most of my adult life. I have a hard time seeing past the fact that I'm X number of pounds overweight and all I've been taught is to lose weight. I know we aren't supposed to talk about weight loss or numbers, but I do want to lose weight and feel like I need to. My body aches, my hips and knees hurt, etc. Why is thinking I need to lose the weight wrong? I won't post anything about diet, weight loss, or numbers, etc. because I know that's against the rules, but I'm curious about the fact that I know I need to better my health. Can you help me with that thought? Absolutely. Such a good question. So let's kind of break it down. They say, I'm exploring intuitive and mindful eating after attempting dieting most of my adult life. So this is a really common scenario, and this is how a lot of people first come to me, where they're like, I have tried diet after diet for decades and it's never worked. Like, I haven't been able to sustain weight loss and I'm very confused about what to eat, or I feel addicted to food. I feel like food has power over me. I feel like I can't control myself around food. I keep falling off the wagon. I lose some weight. I gain all the weight back. I am careful about what I eat and then I binge eat. And so it's this very chaotic relationship with food. It's this feeling like something that they've never really been able to get under control. So arriving at this point where they're like, I've attempted dieting most of my adult life and now they've found intuitive and mindful eating. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because they were like, there has to be another way. And what I have been doing all my life has not been working. And so I think a lot of people like this individual come to the realization of like the diet, if diets haven't worked for me by now, they're not going to work. And like that perfect diet isn't out there. So they come to intuitive and mindful eating as an alternative to dieting. So maybe we start there, okay? Dieting, correct, it doesn't work. 95% of diets do fail. And so that is why, like as a healthcare practitioner, it is not within my code of ethics to support diets or dieting, because I know that the failure rate is so high. There's no efficacy there. Long term, they do not work for sustainable weight loss. So yeah, we're not going to be dieting and restricting our food and restricting food groups because they don't work. But then not only do they not work, there's so many negative health outcomes, physical and psychological health outcomes that come from dieting. So if I were to say, yeah, let's do a diet, I'm setting you up for failure in a lot of extremely dangerous ways. Many people who diet end up developing binge eating disorder. Many people who diet end up gaining weight in the long term. So you kind of get the opposite result of what you're intending. What ends up happening too is we increase our risk for weight cycling, which is losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight when we diet. Pretty much all dieting is yo-yo dieting because dieting is so unsustainable that we do end up maybe losing some weight short term, but long term we gain it all back and then some. Weight cycling in and of itself is an independent risk factor for your cardiovascular health. We see increased body dissatisfaction in dieters, so they end up feeling worse and worse about their bodies. We see an increased preoccupation with one's image. So this, like, we see a lot of disordered body behaviors. We see slow damaged metabolisms, decreased muscle mass. We see malnutrition. So dieting is so dangerous for so many reasons, which is why what we want to be doing is restoring people's relationships with food, healing their relationships with food so that they feel like they can finally get a handle on this. They're in charge. Now, why do we not necessarily focus on weight so much when we are healing our relationships with food? Because if we are simultaneously trying to heal our relationship with food and we're also wanting to lose weight, we're going to be restricting our food in one way or another. We're going to be dieting. And for all of the reasons I just listed, like dieting, we want to steer clear from dieting. So we would be just much better off if we could put weight loss on the back burner and focus on healing your relationship with food and promoting your physical and psychological health. It's pretty impossible to be dieting and to be intentionally trying to lose weight without sacrificing your physical and psychological health. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You can't diet, intentionally pursue weight loss without sacrificing your physical and psychological health. So this is what we do instead. Let's focus on health. Let's focus on health rather than weight and just see where that takes us, okay? So when we focus on health promoting behaviors, you might see weight loss depending on what weight you start at and if that's above or below kind of your set range, which is that weight that's biologically ideal for your frame, which we'll get to a little later. You might see weight loss by implementing new health promoting behaviors in your life, and that's fine. And I want to be clear that intuitive eating practitioners and health at every size practitioners, we're not anti-weight loss. If you lose weight, fine. By engaging in this normal intuitive eating and movement, health promoting behaviors. So that is one possible outcome, but I'm more concerned with like, how are you doing? like truly, like, how, are you well physically and psychologically? I care so much more about that than the number of pounds on the scale. If we are fixated on weight too, we're going to be expecting a certain outcome. We're going to be very attached to a certain outcome, to a goal weight. And if we don't get there, there's going to be a lot of psychological distress. And so a lot of times with psychological distress, we see self-sabotage. So you have this goal weight in mind, you're not getting there fast enough, and you say, forget it. I'm not doing this anymore. So you stop exercising. You stop these health promoting behaviors. You stop implementing nutritious foods and drinking your water because you're like, it doesn't even matter. I'm not losing the weight. I still hate my body. Right? So then it kind of keeps you stuck in this mentality, this all or nothing mentality. So primarily, we are concerned about your health. You don't need to lose weight to improve your health. Some people end up losing weight in the pursuit to improve their health, but it's not necessary. Okay? Weight does not equal health. So just because you exist in a larger body does not inherently mean you're in poorer health than a person in a small body. People in small bodies are not necessarily in any better health than people in larger bodies. It's all very individual. Weight comes down to genetics largely. So we just don't have as much control over our weight that we are taught we do, that diet culture tries to make us believe we do. Diet culture would suggest that if you just get this app, enroll in this program, buy these products, these shakes, these cleanses, etc., you can choose what weight you want to be at and you can get there and stay there forever. Bodies don't work that way. And your personal experience probably points to that. How many different diets have you tried and have you been able to sustain that goal weight long term? Because our bodies fight back. There's already this predetermined set weight that your body wants to be at, and unfortunately, like, we don't just get to choose a number on the scale and be like, yeah, that's the one I want. In the same way that you didn't get to choose your shoe size and you didn't get to choose the size of your hands, the color of your eyes. These things are largely predetermined by genetics. So the best we can do is work with what we've got and take care of ourselves right now. Take care of our here and now bodies. If health is of interest and importance to you, then I would love to support you in pursuing that. But health is not a moral obligation. You're not morally obligated. Some people happen to be particularly interested in diet and fitness, and that's like a hobby. That's great. But I just don't want you to feel like this is an ethical or moral obligation, right? This is personal. If this is of personal value to you, then cool. But I think that we all need to remember to sort of keep that to ourselves, and your journey is your own. And so let's not impose that upon other people. Each one of us has body autonomy, meaning you can do whatever the heck you want with your own individual body. Even after I've told you all of the harmful effects of dieting, if you still want to go on a diet, that's within your right as an autonomous human being. I would love for you to be aware of the risk factors and make an informed decision, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. You are the expert of your body and your life. Let other people be the experts of their bodies and their lives. If you have found a way of eating, a style of living, a way of exercise that works for you, that you're excited about, I'm happy for you, genuinely. But that doesn't mean that everybody around you has to also adopt that, okay? So another reason that we don't promote the intentional pursuit of weight loss is because that promotes weight stigma, which is an oppression. Weight stigma is an oppression, meaning that when we create stigma around people in larger bodies, perpetuating the idea that people in larger bodies, that they are less valuable, that fat is less valuable, then we have all of this stigma. And I love this. There's a wonderful podcast called Maintenance Phase. And it's with My Fat Friend is the name of this individual, this blogger who started the podcast. And there's one other co-host. I'm so sorry I'm forgetting their names right now, but it's phenomenal. So in the first episode, kind of the intro, they describe the way that our culture views fat people and ask the question, like, the way that it's posited in our culture is like, are fat people people? Right? Because like we've gotten away with treating fat people like they're not people, like they aren't human, like they don't deserve dignity and respect. It's so bonkers to me that it's still legal to discriminate against people for their weight in the United States. It's still legal to discriminate against people for their weight in the United States. So we need to start putting weight diversity in the same category as race, gender, sexual orientation, etc. Bodies come in diverse shapes and sizes on purpose. That's the way that bodies have always been. And so we don't just get to say, well, I only like this one body type though. I only like that really thin one. And that's the one I think I should be. That's the one I think we should all be. It's like, we don't really have the luxury of deciding that. So weight stigma is huge, and we don't want to continue to perpetuate weight stigma. And we don't want to perpetuate the idea that thinner is better, that thinner is more valuable, and we don't want to glorify thinness. So bodies do come in all different shapes and sizes. Body diversity is real and it exists. It could be the case that there are more larger bodies now than at other points in time in history, and this could be because of the way that food processing has changed. And our lifestyles have changed largely as a culture. But, you know, it's also interesting to point, which is why there's a good argument for the pursuit of health and to think about things like access and lifestyle and think about things like food processing. But I also want to point to the fact that like 100 years ago, our beauty standards and our ideal was like the opposite of what it is now. The preference, like the ideal for beauty was a more medium-bodied, larger-bodied person, because that suggested that they had money to buy food, they had access. That was the body hierarchy, that was seen as the higher class individual, the more beautiful individual. And now it's reversed. And now it's the opposite, which is dangerous in a lot of ways. But it's also just like so arbitrary. Like I see this as like a phase. Like the thin body is the current preference, but it could change again soon, honestly. So just think about that. Like the fact that the thinner body is prized right now is just like someone's opinion. Like it's a take, but it's not one that you need to prescribe to. So we want to unpack some of our own internalized fat phobia here too, and be like, why do I think that being fat is the worst possible thing a person could be? Where did I get that messaging? In what way is that serving me or harming me? Okay. So let's think about fat phobia and realize that there's a lot of discrimination going on here, lots of oppression. Now, let's get back to the question. I have a hard time seeing past the fact that I'm overweight and okay, so because it is harder to exist in a larger body in our society, it isn't as safe. We don't have as much access to things if we exist in larger bodies. Of course, we want to be thin because thin means that we are going to be safer, less discriminated against. So I validate that desire to lose weight. I totally validate that. I also think, like in Dr. Bacon's book, Health at Every Size, they describe, or they say like people who say they want to lose weight are speaking in code. And I love that because I do want to get underneath this desire to lose weight. Like, what is it that you really want? If it's physical comfort, okay, we can address that literally right now without you losing a pound. And we can start asking questions about, like, are you wearing well-fitting clothes? Do you need, a lot of people talk about injuries and things like that, joint pain. It's like, do you need to be going to physical therapy? Should we get you in a pool? There are things that we can do right now to increase your levels of physical comfort. And your here and now body deserves physical comfort, not your body X number of pounds from now. And I would hate for you to wait to get to X number of pounds from now to give your body the comfort it deserves, because to be honest, you might never get to that goal weight. And even if you do get there, it could be temporary. It would most likely be temporary. So why don't we just start talking about this right now? Why don't we just start addressing the comfort piece right now? Meet your body where it's at in the moment. So the other thing is, like, what thin in our society, we equate thinness to beauty and success and well-being. And so perhaps like that's what you really are after when you're chasing weight loss, is like, we believe that it will make us seem more successful, we will be more attractive. So let's start to get to the root of like the why underneath that. What is it that you're really seeking? Why don't you feel the level of self-worth now that you think you will feel when you get to that goal weight? And it's really important to point out too that bad body image is not cured by weight loss. So body image is a head issue. No matter how much you change your body, that's not solving this problem of not feeling good enough, not feeling like you look good in your body. So body image comes down to thoughts and beliefs. So weight loss is not going, you think, we are taught that weight loss will make you feel better about your body. You'll feel amazing, look amazing, feel amazing. But at the end of the day, you'll always want to lose more weight. There will always be a couple more pounds to lose, or then you'll start to notice my eyebrows, my hair, whatever it is, there's always going to be something. So you can go the rest of your life chasing all of these little solutions, or we can start to do some work around acceptance and wanting the best for oneself, always. Wanting the best for oneself regardless of how our bodies look. So in their book, More Than a Body, the Kite sisters, Lindsay Kite, PhD, and Lexi Kite, PhD, they say Positive body image isn't necessarily always thinking your body looks good. It's knowing your body is good, regardless of how it looks. So we want to start talking about like body gratitude, the function of the body, more so than the appearance of the body. And they also write your body is an instrument, not an ornament, right? So we have this fixation, this obsession with appearance, and we learn to self-objectify, as they write about in the book. And so body image is going to be improved by viewing yourself as more than a body, not just what you see when you look in the mirror, not just the physical body, but you start to see yourself as a whole person. And your worth is not attached to your weight. Okay. So yes, I absolutely care about your physical comfort, and there are things we can start doing now in your current body to promote physical comfort. There's also what's called your weight set range, which is there's a weight that is biologically ideal for your frame that your body will effortlessly maintain without your interference if you let it. Our bodies know how to regulate our weight in the same way that they know how to regulate our body temperature. That's why we sweat. They know exactly what to do when we cut our finger and they heal it, right? Our bodies are like always doing things without us even having to ask. They've got this. And so it's the same thing with our weight. Our bodies know inherently how to regulate our weight. What interferes with their ability to do that is dieting. When we keep restricting our food and our bodies perceive that as a famine, and then our bodies stop knowing what to do with our weight. In fact, they increase our set point every time we diet. Our set point gets higher and higher and higher because our body's like, there's a famine. I need to protect against future famines. And so the body will hold on to weight. So what jacks up your weight set range, that comfortable weight, the body's natural weight, is dieting. And so if you really want to get to that comfortable weight, we want to stop restricting food and stop intentionally pursuing this weight loss so that we can just let our bodies do their job of getting to that comfortable weight. Okay? The other thing is weight isn't the risk factor that we've been taught that it is. So if a person in a larger body happens to be in poorer health, there could be a whole slew of reasons that they happen to be in poorer health than just the weight alone. So a possible reason that a larger bodied person could be in poorer health could be genetics, it could be socioeconomic factors, it could be environment, it could be that they receive less access to high quality medical care, it could be weight stigma, stress, but we always seem to, especially in healthcare, attribute these poor health outcomes to just the weight when it's correlation, not causation. So, that's the other thing that this individual asks is like, I know I need to better my health. Great. Yes. Then what we do is, if you want to better your health, your best bet is to not intentionally pursue weight loss and just think about the health. Let's do the health promoting behaviors, and then let your weight will end up exactly where it's supposed to. Your weight will land where it's good, we're good. But if we intentionally pursue it, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So I think I'm gonna start wrapping up. If y'all have any questions on this, please type it in the comments, because this is hard, and this is new information for a lot of people. I have the benefit of having consumed so much research around this that it makes sense to me, but I know that this is new for so many people. Like these are new topics, and it's hard, and there's going to be a lot of cognitive dissonance because this is like paradigm shifting. So I want to hold space for you to process that, and know that I'm here to support you as you work your way through some of these questions. Potentially pick up the book Health at Every Size by Dr. Lindo Bacon, and start diving into some of this. Listen to Maintenance Phase, listen to Food Psych. These are great podcasts. But if you want support, please reach out to me at mariascrimetti.com. You can apply for a call. I'm also doing a live with one of my clients, Ginny, a week from today. So next Friday, let's see what the date is, the 11th of June at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. Jenny and I are going to go live in this group, and she's going to talk about the process of being in the program and healing her relationship with food, going from chronic dieting to total food freedom, being intuitive and mindful with food, and having body confidence. So you can hear firsthand what that experience was like for her and ask any questions. So I'd love to see you there. All right, so all in all, just remember, like, this journey of food freedom, intuitive eating, making peace with food is not anti-weight loss, but we are anti-diet. We are not anti-health by any means. We're not anti-dieter, right? We're not anti the person who diets, because we have all been told that diets are healthy, that diets are the right thing to do. So now that we've exposed some of the truth around it, we can start to make better decisions for ourselves, more informed decisions, okay? So if you could use support, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to chat with you, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for being a part of this community, and I will talk to you soon.